yesterday in touching on the points or the claims that are stated on the Ismaili website. So, so the first point I want to actually touch on is Maulana. That's 1B. That's where I should commence because the previous sections are not relevant to me. They are not claims attributed to 12 materials or sources. So it says, Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, under the heading, the 1B heading is Maulana Ismail was the most beloved son of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, and most of the Shia of Imam Ja'far believed that Maulana Ismail was his successor. Well, this is not entirely correct. Now, he was most beloved. Well, this can be argued. Yeah, Imam Sadiq did love his son Ismail. Now, to say who was most beloved, who was not most beloved, this is left for Imam Sadiq himself to actually say, this is my most beloved son. Now, yeah, there are two hadiths which can be used to argue on this point. The hadith, both of them I think were mentioned yesterday, whereby Imam Sadiq said Allah refused except that it must be Imam Kazem alayhi salam to be the Imam. So from this we can similarly say like the hadith of the Prophet, where the Prophet was eating the bread and he said Imam Ali, he described Imam Ali as the most beloved to Allah. But anyway, this is not really, it's not really an important argument about who was most beloved. There is no device that can measure love. So Imam Sadiq, this is from Bihar al-Anwar, Abu Abdullah al-Sadiq alayhi salam had 10 children. Ismail was the eldest of them. Not true. Abdullah was the oldest. But I don't know why they would actually say this, or whoever. Abu Abdullah had intense love, affection, and devotion for him, and people believed that he will be the rectifier after his father, and that he will be his successor. This was because he was the eldest of the brothers, as well as his father's intense inclination towards him, and the great nobility which his father bestowed upon him. So, to the second point, it says here, as reported in Proto 12 Hadith book Al-Mahasin compiled by Al-Barqi, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam referred to his son Ismail as my beloved. Well, I don't know what point, what point actually, what point will this statement actually establish? But anyway, like I said, it's not a problem because I don't hate Ismail. I love Ismail too, so no problem. 1C, the Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq did not designate or appoint any other son as his successor to the Imamah, and 12 Shi'i authors admitted this. Okay, so basically, if you are a 12er and you admit that Imam Sadiq did not appoint anybody, this statement becomes an oxymoron. It means automatically you're an apostate. So whoever, is writing in this way, the person, I don't know what he's thinking. Like automatically, it's like saying, oh, well, you are Ismaili, but you don't believe the Aga Khan is a true Imam. This is the implication. Because if you're saying here that a Shi'i person admits that Imam Sadiq did not anybody, well, this is problematic, especially because there are hadiths which have already been mentioned about the necessity to identify the Imam and how to do so, and that the earth will never be without an Imam. This is another hadith which we all believe in. So for anybody to actually make this statement, this is actually, this is not correct. Because automatically, if you are a Shi'i 12er and you don't believe Imam Sadiq appointed anyone, this actually takes you out of the fold of the religion. So I wouldn't, even if there is actually somebody like this who exists, if he makes such a statement, he's definitely out of the fold of the religion. Anyway, let's read the first testimony. So you should keep in mind that the heading says it's 12 Shi'i authors that admitted. This is the heading of 1C. So I would expect to actually see evidence to back this up. Who are these authors who actually admitted? We would like to see examples. We need examples to know who are the authors that admitted that after Imam Sadiq, or Imam Sadiq did not appoint anyone to be the Imam after him. So the first example is from a Turkish professor. His name is Mehmet Ali Boyukara. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. And it is from his PhD dissertation, the Imami Shi'i movement, or the Imam Shi'i movement in the time of Musa al-Kazem and Ali al-Rida alayhim as-salam. So let's read this. It says, Zurara bin A'yan, Abu Basir al-Muradi, Buraid, and Muhammad bin Muslim, described by Imam as-Sadiq as the 10 pins of the world, did not recognize Musa as the successor of al-Sadiq. Zurara died without recognizing al-Sadiq's successor. Abu Basir, who received special knowledge from Imam al-Sadiq, criticized Musa al-Kazim for teaching things contrary to Imam al-Sadiq, saying, I think the knowledge of our companion has not yet matured. Buraid and Muhammad bin Muslim were known as the apostles of Imam al-Sadiq and named by the Imam as the foremost al-Sabiqun and the nearest al-Muqarrabun to God. Both men failed to recognize Musa al-Kazem as the successor of Imam al-Sadiq. Other prominent disciples of Imam al-Sadiq who did not follow Musa as the next Imam include Aban, not Abbad, Aban bin Osman al-Bajali, Abdullah bin Bukair, Yunus bin Dhibyan. So, this is a fantastic claim, of course. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to touch on each of these names to see if the claims presented on this website, they are actually true. That is what I'm going to do. Then, before I start on that, I want to, test the person who is actually saying this statement. And of course, the first thing I will do, the Shia authors, the supposed Shia authors, the first statement belongs to this Turkish professor. The second statement, apparently though, Ja'far did not appoint another in place of Ismail, and the theoretical argument by which he might have done so is generally speaking missing. Imami writers like Al-Nawbakhti admitted as such even 100 years later. We presented Nawbakhti's statement yesterday, and there is nothing like this. This is Paul Walker, Succession to Rule in Shiite Caliphate. Then the third person is called Farhad Daftari. He said, however, the fact remains that Ismail was not present at the time of Imam Sadiq's death, when three other sons simultaneously claimed his succession, though none of them could convincingly prove to have been the beneficiary of a second nas. As a result, the Imam as-Sadiq's partisans split into 6 groups, 2 of which constituted the nucleus of the nascent Ismailiyya. This is Daftari. Let me see the next one. Okay, the next one is Al-Kishi, and I will treat that separately. So, why did I decide to read first, before I touch on the companions of Imam al-Sadiq? Why did I decide to actually read what these people have said? First of all, it's actually deceptive in the sense that these people were not 12 authors. They were not 12 authors. So when you make a headline and you say that the 12 authors, they have actually admitted, that Imam Sadiq did not make any appointment after the death of Ismail. This is deceptive because these authors, they are not 12 authors. That's point number 1. Point number 2, we have to recognize who these authors are, because on the Ismaili website, they are presented as academics. So, were they really academics? Well, I would say yes. But now, are these academics prejudiced? Who are they? Who do they work for? Like the saying goes, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So, sorry, I'm reading, Kalim, Alaikum Assalam, I'm reading from the Ismaili website, so it's what is written there I'm reading. So anyway, I will give a brief introduction to these people, and then, you can decide what to think about whoever authored this website and is presenting certain people, as academics who are basically, upholding the Ismaili narrative. This is what the impression they are giving. So the first person, I will pin his tweet so that you see his. Don't worry, just a second. Let me just open. Let me pin this. So check this out. This is his Twitter account. So he's kind of, I don't know if this is nostalgic. It's in Turkish, but you can translate tweet. It says, when I see the picture of Dubai's Emir Al Maktoum, this old photograph of the Ismaili leader Muhammad Agha Khan comes to mind. So is this guy a 12er? I don't think so. We go to the second person. This is Paul Walker. The second academic who basically, he's the one legitimizing, or these are the people, who are defending the Ismaili creed and being presented. They are academics, professional writers, independent. No, they are not. You will decide for yourself. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just presenting. Check this website. This is a publishing company in the United Kingdom. So this is the profile of Paul Walker. So biography, Paul Walker is based at the Institute of Ismaili Studies in the UK. Previously, he was Deputy Director for Academic Programs at the Center for Middle Eastern Studies at the University of Chicago. So he works where? At the Institute of Ismaili Studies in the UK. This is Paul Walker. If you check even, anyway, I think this is enough. The third person, Farhad Daftari. So if you don't check who these people are, you will think, oh, they're academics. No, they are prejudiced. They are not academics. They work for somewhere and they are endorsing where they work. They are endorsing the payers' views, basically. So check this. Ismaili Institute honors Farhad Daftari on his retirement as co-director. So basically, he's one of you. So what are you presenting here as an academic? So this is your guy talking here, telling us, accusing 12ers or saying whatever statement, bold statement, oftentimes baseless. So this is one of you. You packaging him as an academic. Tayyib. Madelong. This is the fourth person. The so-called academic. Well, he is academic. They are academics, but they are not neutral. This is the point I'm trying to make. And you can, imagine whatever you want to imagine. This is the fourth person. If you scroll down, it says, since 1999, Professor Madelong has been affiliated to the Institute of Ismaili Studies as a senior research fellow. So he works for the Ismaili Institute, the Institute of Ismaili Studies. The last one, This is a Russian. So basically, employ professors, pay them, and then they write for you, approving or legitimizing your beliefs. This is what we are seeing here. This is Vladimir Ivanov. This is, one of the academics on the Ismaili website. If you scroll down, he was honored by the Ismaili Institute. Below is a short film that takes you on a virtual, just a minute. This exhibition follows the pioneering Russian scholar. This is the Aga Khan Center, this website of the Aga Khan Center. So it says Vladimir Ivanov and Modern Ismaili Studies. This exhibition follows the pioneering Russian scholar of Ismaili studies, Vladimir Ivanov, across the Muslim world. From his early travels in Iran to his arrival and settlement in Bombay and entanglement with its various Muslim community, Ivanov and Modern Islamic Studies positions this scholar and his research at the very heart of his transformative period. The exhibition illustrates the historical context of the period, but also hopes to shed light on how Ivanov's life was directed by his chosen field of study, Ismaili history and thought. Then it goes on. The exhibition is supported by the Institute of Ismaili Studies. MashaAllah. So I believe we are all adults in this room, and you all understand the point I'm trying to make. Very, very simple. You have professors, they work for your Ismaili Institute. You package them, as academics, and they endorse your beliefs on your website, and you give a title that these are Shia authors. It's either this is, a blatant mistake, or this was deliberate. These are not Shia, 12 Shia authors. They are not. They are prejudiced. They work for your institute. How do you package them as academics? Anyway. So, Zurara, there is a claim here about Abu Basir, that he criticized Imam Musa al-Kazem. I don't know if I should treat that point first, because this is very important, So it says Abu Basir, who received special knowledge from Imam Sadiq, criticized Musa al-Kazem for teaching things contradictory to Imam al-Sadiq, saying, I think the knowledge of our companion has not matured yet. I was supposed to actually treat this later, but I will treat it now because it's necessary to do so. Now, I should have actually, done something independent, but it's time consuming for me to check the references and everything. And I can just, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. These are not, issues that are new to our scholars and all that. However controversial, I will give the response of Sheikh Yasser al-Habib. However controversial he may be, but he treated this point You can check the website here. It's in Arabic. So I will just give you a summary of the answer. There are two Abu Basir. There's Abu Basir al-Muradi and there's Abu Basir al-Asadi. Abu Basir al-Muradi, his aqidah was corrupt. His aqidah was corrupt. In other words, this Abu Basir al-Muradi, he did not only insulted Imam Musa al-Kazem, he also insulted Abu Abdullah Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, alayhim as-salam. He also insulted Imam Ja'far, describing him basically as somebody who is worldly. He told, when he was actually addressed by his companions, and this is actually mentioned in the link that is actually pinned. So when he was actually told that he should use his money to perform the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, he refused. He wasn't using his money to go for Hajj, and he was somebody who had money. So it says here, there's a hadith here from Ibn Abi Ya'fur. It says, خرجت إلى السواد أطلب دراهم للحج ونحن جماعة وفينا أبو بصير المرادي قال قلت له يا أبا بصير اتق الله وحج بمالك فإنك ذو مال كثير فقال اسكت فلو أن الدنيا وقعت لصاحبك لاشتمل عليها بكسائها. Basically, he's insulting Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq out of his imagination, saying that if the world had fallen into the hands of your companion, that's Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq would have covered the world with his cloth or with his cloak. In other words, he would have held on to it tightly. This is how he's speaking about the Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, whom both the Ismailis and the Twelvers, supposedly, or at least we should agree, we respect, we honor, we believe in him. So if he's doing the same thing, this person, he's doing the same thing to Imam Musa al-Kazem, it's not something strange, for you to celebrate on your website. So now we're talking about the nature of the person. Now, when it comes to the issue of his claim on the website, like I said, I should have gone, get you each and every hadith, but, it's time consuming and I didn't have enough time to go and get you it. Everything is contained in this link. And the Sheikh Yasir al-Habib, he actually responded to this point very well, extensively, detailed and everything. And like I said, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. So the argument about Imam Kazem's knowledge, not maturing. Imam Kazem alayhi salam was asked about a man who marries a woman that has a husband. So the Imam said, the man will not be punished. Now, this question, it has a context. It has a context. Now, this guy, because he's stupid, at least at that point he was stupid, he said that Imam Kazem's knowledge had not matured because it contradicted the view of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. The view of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, which he was basing his judgment on, is that if a man marries a woman that is married, both the woman and the man who married her should be punished. This is what Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq said. Imam Musa al-Kazem said, if a man marries a woman who is already married, only the woman should be punished. The man should not be punished. Now, if you check the link, the ahadith are given in there. And then, in this link, it is made clear that there is an instance from Imam Baqir that Imam Baqir gave the same ruling that Imam Musa al-Kazim gave. That if a man marries a woman that was already married or that is already married, the woman should be punished, not the man. And Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, alayhi salam, himself gave the same judgment. So, at face value, you may say this is actually a contradiction. How can one Imam say, if a woman who is married gets married to another man, you only punish the woman? Then another Imam is saying you punish both of them. So, what's this difference? The difference is explained in the context of the occurrences. In the case of the judgment that Imam Musa al-Kazim was given, the man did not know that the woman was already married. So the woman wanted this man, and she got married to him under the guise that she was single. So in that case, the man who marries her out based on ignorance that he doesn't know, he would not be punished because he didn't know. It's the woman's fault. She wants to commit zina and she lied. And the man did not establish that this woman was married. So this man is innocent. The same ruling was given by Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. The same ruling was given by Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali bin Abi Talib. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam gave another ruling in another instance where the man knew that the woman was married and he still took her. Then this man is not innocent. So on this basis, this Sahabi or this companion, he actually, condemned Imam Musa al-Kazim, and this is actually found on the Ismaili website, and they are celebrating this. Tayyib. Now, the second point. Yesterday I mentioned the ruling that Ismail gave, which was wrong. And there we are celebrating that, Ismail was given ruling to the Shia community independently of his father. Or the Shia community were actually turning to him. When I checked the sharh, the commentary of Allama al-Majlisi, he said these companions actually asked Ismail for the ruling so that they can actually expose his deficiency and his inability to be the Imam. He wasn't fit, he wasn't suited. So this is actually the explanation for the ruling that Ismail gave, and it was based on qiyas about Aisha's age. Tayyib, we move to the second point. So the second point, based on this section here of this Turkish professor, he said, Zurara Abu Basir Buraid, Muhammad bin Muslim, they did not recognize Imam Musa ibn Ja'far as the successor of Imam Sadiq. So he presented 4 names. So, first of all, as I said earlier on, there are 2 Abu Basir. There is Abu Basir al-Muradi, whose faith is doubted, and there is ikhtilaf on him, because there is even evidence that he actually criticized even Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, or he spoke recklessly about him. And then there is Abu Basir al-Asadi. So first of all, we will check both of them and see who they were. And if truly Abu Basir al-Asadi, who was praised beyond doubt, he did not believe in the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam. So this is Ikhtiyar Ma'rifat al-Rijal of Sheikh al-Tusi, volume 1, page 396. So if you go to the last paragraph, it says, والشيخ رحمه الله تعالى أيضا لم يوثقه ولا ذكر له مدحا في الفهرس ولا في كتاب الرجال. Then he goes on to say, بل اقتصر على مجرد ذكره في أصحاب أبي جعفر الباقر وفي أصحاب أبي الحسن الكاظم. That Sheikh al-Tusi, he only relied on authenticating Abu Basir al-Asadi on the fact that Abu Basir al-Asadi, he was a companion of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq and Imam Abil Hassan al-Kadhim, that's Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. This is point number 1. And in this link above, it says, في أبي بصير ليث بن البختري المرادي. ليث بن البختري المرادي الضرير هو أبو بصير الأصغر، وكان يكنى أيضا أبو محمد. So this is another Abu Basir. There are 2 Abu Basir. We've established this based on this link. And Abu Basir al-Asadi, he was a companion of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. About Abu Basir al-Muradi insulting Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam is found here. This is the same Abu Basir who didn't know even what the Imam was ruling about. He didn't know the difference, that there should be a different ruling when the man doesn't know if the woman is truly married or not, or if the woman misleads the man. He didn't know. So he's actually passing judgment upon the Imam. And of course, our Ismaili brothers on this website, they are celebrating that, oh, the Imam of the 12 was, he doesn't know what his father knew. No, not only he did know, he actually is the reflection of his grandfather Amir al-Mu'minin, because Amir al-Mu'minin Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam, he passed both judgments. He punished a man who married a woman and he knew she was married, and he did not punish a man who married a married woman because he didn't know. In this, from اختيار معرفة الرجال of Sheikh al-Tusi, volume 1, page 398, you start from 397. It says, the hadith I read earlier on, this is the source for it. It says, this is from Ibn Abi Ya'fur. خرجت إلى السواد أي إلى سواد العراق. He went out, to the people. قال في المغرب وسمي سواد العراق لحضرة أشجارها. It's, I think, a region here. It says, ونحن جماعة وفينا أبو بصير المرادي. So we are a group, and among us was Abu Basir al-Muradi. قال قلت له يا أبا بصير اتق الله وحج بمالك فإنك ذو مال كثير. You have a lot of money. You don't need people to give you money to go perform the Hajj. So see what he said. He said, اسكت. Said, be quiet. فلو أن الدنيا وقعت لصاحبك لاشتمل عليها بكسائه. That if the world would have fallen into the hands of your companion, that's the Imam, that's Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. This was in the time of Imam Sadiq. Your companion would have actually protected the world with his kisa, with his cloak. This is what he's speaking about the Imam alayhi salam. And this is the same person they are celebrating on the Ismaili website. Taib. Just to differentiate between the two Abu Basirs. This is just a simple, simple and basic exercise here that I'm going to show. Sorry, can you hear me? I switched connection. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Habibi, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so,
yes, we can hear you.
Wa alaikum salam. This is a quick, just a quick, simple exercise here. Just even if you are like a teenager or you're a kid or you don't know anything about these people, these companions. Just a quick exercise, very quick, simple exercise here. This is from Wiki Shia. Let's say you don't go to Rijali books, you don't check narrators, you just want to know the biography of this companion. This is Abu Basir al-Muradi. If you check under the companionship, صحبته, this is the heading. It says, كان من أصحاب الإمامين الباقر والصادق عليهما السلام. Abu Basir al-Muradi, he was a companion of As-Sadiq and Al-Baqir. Now, we open on the same Wiki Shia website for Abu Basir al-Asadi. This is Abu Basir al-Asadi. Even the intro, it says Abu Basir al-Asadi huwa Yahya bin Abil Qasim al-Kufi. He is Yahya bin Abil Qasim al-Kufi من رواة الحديث في القرن الثاني الهجري. He is from the narrators of Hadith in the 2nd century after Hijrah. ومن أصحاب الإمام الباقر وإمام الصادق وإمام الكاظم. So, he is from the companions of 3 Imams. طيب. This same person, you know, yesterday we are celebrating about Ismail given a ruling, or based on what I read yesterday, it was the celebration generally for Ismail. He was given ruling. So check the position of this companion, Al-Asadi. This is from Bihar al-Anwar, Allam al-Majlisi, volume 2, page 249. At the end, he's quoting from Rijal al-Kishi. It says, Muhammad bin Qulaywi عن سعد عن ابن عيسى عن عبد الله الحجال عن العلاء عن ابن أبي يعفور قال قلت لأبي عبد الله عليه السلام إنه ليس كل ساعة ألقاك ولا يمكن القدوم ويجيء الرجل من أصحابنا فيسألني أو يسألني وليس عندي كل ما يسألني عنه. So this companion of Imam Sadiq, he's saying that to Imam Sadiq that, you know, I live far away and sometimes my people, they come to me and they ask me certain questions that I am not able to answer. So I'm not able to come like every time they ask me question. So what did the Imam actually told him? قال عليك بالأسد يعني أبا بصير. So Imam Sadiq sent him to who? To Abu Basir. He said, if you cannot come, you ask Abu Basir. And this Abu Basir, he is the companion of Imam Musa al-Kazem. Let's see what we have about Ibn Basir Abi Basir al-Muradi. This is from Rijal al-Ghadairi. It says, Layth bin al-Bakhtari al-Muradi Abu Basir, known by the kunya of Abu Muhammad. Abu Abdullah alayhi salam used to be displeased with him and be fed up with him. And his companions are at variance regarding his state. According to me, that's Ibn Ghadairi, the accusation is only occurred against his religion, not against his hadith. And according to me, he is thiqah. So his religion is problematic, his beliefs, but we take his hadith, basically. So this is Al-Muradi, who did ta'an against Imam Musa al-Kazem and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. This is our position. And his ta'an that he did is baseless. So they have presented him, that, oh, he's a champion among the companions of Imam al-Sadiq. And he did ta'an. In other words, he insulted Imam Musa al-Kazim, or he belittled him and all that. This is not the case. It's a misrepresentation of the facts. Tayyib. I would not, be like them. I will give the full story. I would not give half of the story. This guy, there's still a hadith we have whereby Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salam praised him. So now, how do we reconcile this? If you go to the Rijal of Sayyid al-Khou'i, he said that it is perhaps probable that this guy at some point, he did tawbah. In other words, he came back. This is the reason you find that at some point he's praised and at another point he's actually condemned. So if you check this link that is pinned, volume 34, page 276 from Bihar al-Anwar, Imam Kazem alayhi salam, he did not only praise him, he praised others also. He said, it's a long hadith, then you go, I think, to the second page. No, just a minute. So what he said there will be, on the day of resurrection, there will be an announcement about who were the Hawari, that's the disciples, the close disciples of Muhammad bin Ali, and the disciples of Ja'far ibn Muhammad. So Yaqum Abdullah bin Sharik al-Amiri, Abdullah ibn Sharik will stand up, wa Zurara bin A'yun, wa Buraid bin Muawiyah al-Ijli, wa Muhammad bin Muslim al-Thaqafi, wa Layth bin al-Bakhtari al-Muradi, wa Abdullah bin Abi Ya'fur, wa Amir bin Abdullah al-Khuza'i, wa Hujr bin Zaida, wa Hamran bin A'yun. This is what he said. Now, another explanation that is given by Sayyid al-Khou'i on this is the possibility of mix-up, and not only Sayyid al-Khou'i, by other of our scholars. There is the possibility of a mix-up because this one is Abu Basir, that one is Abu Basir. This one is Abu Muhammad, that one is Abu Muhammad. So, often at times in the ahadith, you wouldn't even know which Abu Basir they are talking about. Is it Al-Asadi or Al-Muradi? But anyway, irrespective of which Abu Basir the hadith is actually talking about, the one who made a statement against Imam Musa al-Kazim also made a statement against Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. And we examine the criticism, we see that this issue that he's criticizing the Imam on, it's based on his ignorance. Because a ruling can be given for the man not to be punished if the man is not aware that the woman is married, is previously married. And Imam Ali applied both. Now, this is not the same thing like, for example, when the companions tested Ismail about the testimony of a child. He said when the child is 10 years old. First of all, a child in certain instances can actually give can actually give a testimony. And it's not the age that determines when his testimony can be admissible. It's actually his maturity, his bulugh. So Ismail gave a wrong ruling based on qiyas, the age of Aisha and all that. And Allama al-Majlisi, didn't even waste time to dismiss his ruling. Said perhaps they actually, tested him to show to everybody that this guy doesn't have what it takes to be an imam. So we go to the next person, Buraid. Because Buraid is mentioned on the Ismaili website. That he was one of those people who did not follow. He was one of the close companions of Imam Sadiq, and he didn't believe in the Imamah of Imam al-Kazem alayhi salam. This is the claim here. Let's see what we find in Al-Kishi about Buraid. Sorry, Rijal al-Najashi. Um, 287, Buraid bin Muawiyah, Abu al-Qasim al-Ijli, عربي روي عن أبي عبد الله وأبي جعفر عليهما السلام. Buraid, the son of Muawiyah, Abu al-Qasim al-Ijli. He's an Arab. He narrated from Abi Abdullah, that's Imam Sadiq, wa Abi Ja'far, and also Abi Ja'far عليهما السلام. ومات في حياة أبي عبد الله عليه السلام. ووجه من وجوه أصحابنا وفقيه أيضا. So, Buraid died in the time of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. So, how can they, on the Ismaili website, expect Buraid to follow the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem when Buraid was in his grave? طيب. We come to Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Riyah. They mentioned Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Riyah. This is Mu'jam Rijal al-Khu'i, volume 18. So if you scroll down, it says من أصحاب الكاظم عليه السلام. He is from among the companion of Al-Kazim. So, in other words, the claim on the Ismaili website that he did not follow Al-Kazim alayhi salam is wrong. So, it's a wrong claim. So now, we've spoken about Abu Basir. We've proven that there are two Abu Basirs. One of them is praised beyond doubt. The other one, there is ikhtilaf upon him. He did auto statement against both Imam Sadiq and Imam Kazem, and in some narration he is praised because there is actually the probability of a mix-up or the probability that he actually repented. Now, who is the last person among the four they mentioned at the top? Zurara. You know, I was going to make a particular room just on Zurara. So I kept Zurara to be the last among the four because it's a long defense of Zurara, alayhi salam. So, first of all, these four companions, there is actually something in common among the four. That is Zurara, Muhammad ibn Muslim, Abu Basir al-Asadi, and Buraid. There is one thing they have in common. And this is found in this chapter from Al-Kafi, which I will pin. This is from Al-Kafi, and it is volume 1 under the chapter of knowing the Imam and belief in his divine authority. So, hadith number 3 is from Zurara. Hadith number 8 from Muhammad ibn Muslim. Hadith number 11 from Abu Basir. Hadith number 13 from Buraid. And they are all authentic. These four hadiths from these four people. Hadith number 3. It says, Hisham ibn Salim from Zurara, who has said the following. I said to Abu Ja'far, Imam al-Baqir, is knowing the Imam from among you obligatory on all creatures? The Imam said, Allah, the Most Holy, the Most High, sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi to all people as his messenger and has his authority over all creatures on earth. Those who have faith in Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger and have followed him and have acknowledged his message, on such people it is obligatory to the Imam from us. Those who do not have faith in Allah, sorry, the translation I know is not really good, but whatever is written I will read. Those who do not have faith in Allah and in his messenger and do not follow him and do not acknowledge him and do not acknowledge the rights of Allah and his messenger, then knowing the Imam will be obligatory on them. They do not have faith in Allah and his messenger, do not follow him and do not acknowledge their rights. I then asked, what will you say about those who have faith in Allah and his messenger, who acknowledge his messenger in all matters that have come from Allah? Is it obligatory for them to know the Imam from you? The Imam said, yes, it is obligatory. Do they not know so and so? I said, yes, they do. The Imam said, then do you think Allah is the one who has placed such knowledge in their hearts? No, I swear to Allah that no one other than Satan has placed such knowledge in their hearts. I swear to Allah that no one other than Allah, the Most Holy, the Most High, has inspired our rights in the hearts of the believers. Basically, I don't want to go into the details, of the hadith and all that. The only point I'm reading this hadith is to prove that these companions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, they knew about the rights of knowing the Imam. So nobody can say they did not know about the importance of identifying and following and obeying the Imam. No, they narrated ahadith, reliable ahadith from Imam Baqir and Imam Sadiq that it is obligatory to know the Imam. At least this is established. طيب. This is Muhammad ibn Muslim. He's asking Imam Sadiq about his successor. This is the same Muhammad ibn Muslim. Sayyid al-Khou'i says he was from the followers of Imam Abu al-Hasan Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam. And our Ismaili friends on the website from the Turkish professor, he said no, Muhammad ibn Muslim, he was not a follower of Imam Musa al-Kazem. طيب. This is Al-Kafi, Volume 1, the obligation and duty of the people at the time of the person away of the Imam. Muhammad ibn Muslim, who has said the following, I said to Abu Abdullah, may Allah grant you good health. We heard that you were not feeling good, and it caused us anxiety. Will that you inform or teach us who will be the succeeding Imam? The Imam said yes. Ali was the scholar. Inna Aliyan kana aliman, scholar or knowledgeable, or he had the knowledge. And knowledge is inherited. No scholar dies, no alim dies, except that he leaves behind a scholar whose knowledge is of the same level or whatever Allah would will. In other words, these are not scholars that go to school. No, these are scholars that Allah has designated for the Ummah, to guide the Ummah. I then said, will people be excused for not knowing the succeeding Imam after the death of the preceding? He said, the people of this area, city of Medina, will not be excused. People of other areas will be dealt with according to their abilities. Allah has said, not all believers have to become specialists in religious learning. Why do not some people from each group of believers seek to become specialists in religious learning, and after completing their studies, guide their group so that they will have fear of Allah? The narrator has said that he then asked the Imam, what if some of them will die before completing their education and search? He said, such people will be of the ones mentioned in the words of Allah here below in Surah An-Nisa verse 100. And the one who dies having abandoned his home to get near to Allah, and his messenger will receive his reward from God. The narrator has said that he then asked the Imam, if people will come to the Imam, then what means will they recognize him? He said, the Imam is granted serenity, dignity, and an awesome presence. Sahih, according to Al-Majlisi and Behbudi. Type. We go back to Zurara. It's not like I'm skipping, no. I'm just trying to establish that these people, they knew about the importance of obeying, knowing, recognizing the Imam of their time. They were not ignorant fellows. These were people like Abu Basir. Imam Sadiq is telling others that if you have questions, go to him. This is somebody who accompanied Imam al-Baqir. He accompanied Imam al-Baqir, he accompanied Imam al-Sadiq, Imam Musa al-Kazem. So he was not, just an ordinary companion, no. He had a high status. Type. We go back to Zurara. So the hadith mainly that is used to cast, doubt on Zurara is this hadith. That Zurara did not know the Imam of his time. This is what, Nawasib, like the Sunnis and especially the Salafis, this is what these parasites, they read on the Ismaili website, and they come into our rooms, like Yaqub, Zurara doesn't know the Imam of his time. He says this, with his chicken voice. He doesn't know, he does la'na on Zurara. طيب. Now, if you want to tell me what Zurara was propagating, this was not from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. Zurara was a liar. Zurara was Sunni. Before Zurara became a follower of the Imams, a follower of the Ahlul Bayt, Zurara was a Sunni. So he's your Sunni brother. So if you believe Imam Sadiq was innocent from what Zurara taught, he's your Sunni brother. He was a deceptionist. He's like you, in other words. Of course, he wasn't like him. طيب. This is the hadith that Zurara did not know his Imam. It says, Ahmad bin Ziyad bin Ja'far al-Hamadani from Ali bin Ibrahim bin Hashim from Muhammad ibn Isa bin Ubaid from Ibrahim bin Muhammad al-Hamdani, who said, I said to Al-Rida alayhi salam, O son of the Messenger of Allah, inform me about Zurara. Did he know of the right of your father Al-Kazem alayhi salam? He said, yes, he did. I said, then why did he send his son Ubaid to investigate the affair or the question of the succession to As-Sadiq alayhi salam? Imam Rida said, Zurara knew of the affair of my father, his Imamah, and the designation of his father, As-Sadiq alayhi salam, to him. He only sent his son to know from my father, Al-Kazim alayhi salam, whether it was permitted for him to lift the taqiyya in announcing the Imamah of Imam Al-Kazim and the designation of his father to him. That's the designation of Imam Sadiq for Imam Al-Kazim. When the answer delayed, he was asked to declare his opinion about my father, but he did not wish to proceed in doing so without his instruction. So he raised the Mus'haf, the Quran, and said, Oh Allah, my Imam is the one whose Imamah this Mus'haf establishes among the sons of Ja'far ibn Muhammad. Now, some nights ago, I made the point that based on 3:33 to 34, Muhammad ibn Ismail cannot be the Imam. Because even in Ismaili teachings, the Imam has to be a son of a previous Imam. Other than Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein, who were brothers because they both had the same status and position in terms of the incident of the cloak, in terms of the verse of the purification, in terms of their grandfather being Rasulullah. You can't have, for example, a brother inheriting or taking over the Imamah from his brother after Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein alayhim as-salam. So I made this point, I provided the hadith. So in this hadith, Zurara is saying what? Whoever the Quran endorses among the children of Ja'far, I believe. Abdullah al-Aftah can't be the Imam. He didn't have a son. It's established. He was deficient, at least based on Surah Yunus. Allah set in a principle that is the one who guides more befitting to be obeyed than the one who himself needs guidance. The Quran doesn't support the Imamah of Abdullah al-Aftah. So clearly, the Quran supports the Imamah of who? Of Imam Musa al-Kazem. He had what it takes. MashaAllah, Imam Kazem had descendants, like 34 children, over 30 children. Imam Kazem had. Yani, among the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt, Imam Kazem, I know this might sound inappropriate, just, in a witty way to express myself, may the Imam forgive me. Imam Kazem was the baby factory. He produced so many children. And today, among the Sayyids, you find most of the Sayyids are Musawi around the world because of the effort, the duty, the suffering, the struggles, the sacrifices of this Imam. And wallah, if all the Shia agreed on Imam Musa al-Kazem, maybe our position would be a lot better than it is today. Tayyib. Now, the verse 4:100 that was explained earlier on in the hadith of Muhammad ibn Muslim by Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, that he said, if somebody emigrates towards Allah and His Messenger and he dies on the way, based on verse 100 of Surah An-Nisa, Allah will still reward him. This hadith was explained in the same way by Imam al-Kazem himself in favor of Zurara. Let's see the hadith. It says, from Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Zurara, from his father Abdullah bin Zurara, who said, Zurara sent Ubaid, his son, to ask about the affair of Abil Hassan, but death came to him, that's to Zurara, before his son Ubaid would come back to him with the answer. So he, Zurara, took a mushaf just before he died and put it above his head and said, the Imam after Ja'far bin Muhammad is the one whose name is in between the two covers in the generality of the Quran, appointed in a clear designation by those whose obedience has been made obligatory by Allah upon His creation, and I am a believer in him. And I am a believer in him. Abul Hassan alayhi salam, that's Imam al-Kazem, was later informed of this. What did he say? He said, by Allah. The Imam is swearing by Allah. Said by Allah. Zurara was a muhajir to Allah, the Exalted, based on 4:100. And keep in mind that the affair that his son was going to ask about was whether he could actually inform the people about the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem according to the hadith of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. طيب. Another hadith where Imam Kazem alayhi salam, he prayed for Zurara alayhi salam. So keep in mind, I'm mentioning this not because, I simply want to make people know about Zurara. No, because our Ismaili professor claims that Zurara did not believe in the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam. This is their claim. This is what they claim. Tayyib. We check this second hadith, what Imam al-Kazem said. He prayed for Zurara. This is from Muhammad bin Abi Umair from Jamil al-Darraj and others apart from him. Jamil said, Zurara sent his son Ubaid to Medina to investigate for him the matter of Abil Hassan and Abdullah bin Abi Abdullah. But he died before his son could return to him. I talked to Abul Hassan the first and mentioned him Zurara and the act of sending his son Ubaid to Medina. So Abul Hassan said, I hope, or arju, that Zurara is among, pay attention to this because I will define this word. I do hope that Zurara is among those about whom Allah the Exalted has said, and whoever comes out of his home, emigrating to Allah and his messenger, and death overtakes him, in such a state then he has already secured his reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, this is from Islam QA, what the word arju means. If you check the Arabic hadith, the word that Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam used, he said arju. So what does this word mean? So the meaning of arju is a word used to express something that is possible to occur or what is foreseeable to happen, in contrast to tamanni or atamanna, which is about something whose occurrence is almost impossible. So if you read the word, Imam Kazem alayhi salam used the word arju an yakun about Zurara, that he will be from among the people of paradise. Now, another hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam on Zurara. A long hadith. It's a letter to Zurara, whereby the Imam told him that I speak against you for your safety. This is Al-Mu'jam al-Ahadith al-Mu'tabara, Zurara bin A'yan. Very long hadith. I will try to read as much as possible. So, from Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Zurara and his Zurara's two sons, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, from Abdullah bin Zurara, who said, Abi Abdullah as-Sadiq alayhi salam said to me, convey my salutations of peace to your father and say to him, verily, I only defame you as a way of defending you, for the masses and the enemy hasten to whomever we draw near and praise his station so as to cause harm to the one we love and bring close. They accuse such a one because of our love for him and his closeness and intimacy with us, and they consider causing him harm and even killing him as justified. On the other hand, they praise everyone whom we fault, even if his affair is not praiseworthy. Thus I fault you because you have become notorious as a result of your association with us and your inclination towards us, which has caused you to become blamable in the eyes of the people and your works to be looked upon unfavorably. All this because of your love for us and your inclination towards us. So I wished to fault you so that they can praise your religious stand as a result of my denigrating and diminishing you. And this becomes a way of warding off their evil from you. Allah, majestic and mighty, says, as for the boat, then it belonged to the poor, walking at sea, so I wished to damage it because there was a king after them who seizes every good boat by force. This is a revelation from Allah, including the word good. No, by Allah, He did not damage it except so that it be saved from the king and is not ruined in his hands. It was a good boat which had no question of being defective. Allah be praised. So comprehend the parable. May Allah have mercy on you, for you are by Allah the most beloved of people to me, and the most beloved of the companions of my father, in my estimation both in life and after death. Indeed, you are the best boat in that tumultuous and stormy sea. and there is a tyrannical and usurping king after you, keeping watch for the crossing of every good boat returning from the sea of guidance, so that he can take it for himself and seize it and its owners. So may the mercy of Allah be upon you in life, and His mercy and pleasure be upon you after death. And your two sons, Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein, brought me your letter. May Allah guard, defend, watch over, and protect them because of the goodness of their father, the way He had protected the two boys, the orphans, in Surah Al-Kahf. Let not your heart constrict in grief if Abu Basir comes to you with the opposite of that which you were instructed by my father and by me. For by Allah, we did not instruct you and him except with an instruction that is befitting to act upon, both for us and for you. And for each instruction, even if seemingly contradictory, we have diverse expressions and interpretations which all agree with the truth. And if we were allowed to explain, you would come to know that the truth is in that which we have instructed you. So refer back to us the matter and submit to us, and be patient in acting according to our rulings, and be satisfied with them. The one who has divided you is your shepherd, who has been given authority by Allah over his creation. He is more aware of what is in the interest of his flock and what can corrupt it. If he wishes, he divides between them to safeguard them. Then he unites them once more, so that it is secure from destruction and the fear posed by its enemy. In such a time as Allah permits, bringing it thereby safety from his place of safety and relief from him. Upon you is to submit and to refer back to us, and to await our affair and your affair, and our relief and your relief. However, if you do not submit wholly, then if our riser were to rise and our speaker speak, and he recommences teaching you the Quran, the laws of religion, the rulings and inheritance, shares the way Allah revealed them to Muhammad, the people of the insight among you will repudiate it on that day, a bitter repudiation. Then you will not remain steadfast upon the religion and his path, except under the threat of the sword over your necks. Sorry, I will go down a bit. So adhere to it, and your chest should not be constricted. That which Abu Basir came to you with in regard to the prayer being 51 units, and voicing the talbiyah allowed for tamattu, combining the umrah with the hajj at sunset. So this is like unmatched praise from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam for Zurara. There is no, I've never seen like any, I think he is the most oppressed among the companions of the Imams. Clearly, the Imam telling him that we talk against you because the people, whoever we praise, they go after him to harm him. So we are warding away harm from you by speaking against you. So now there is actually a question. Zurara, he died 2 years after Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So is it possible that all through this while he did not know of his Imam? Imam Sadiq died, he has passed away, he attained martyrdom. So Zurara, he narrated the hadith about identifying the Imam, the obligation to identify the Imam. So can we say that in these 2 years he didn't know that Imam Musa al-Kazem was the Imam? Is it possible 2 years? It's not. And this is the reason the hadith of Imam Rida alayhi salam makes the explanation that Zurara knew about the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem. But he actually kept it because he wasn't allowed to announce it. طيب. Now, I will pin a hadith to prove this, that Zurara, he knew from the beginning, from the onset, about the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem, alayhi salam. And the same with Abu Basir. This is from Hisham ibn Salim. He said, Muhammad bin al-Nu'man, Sahib al-Ta' and I were in Medina after the death of Abi Abdullah alayhi salam, and the people had gathered around Abdullah bin Ja'far. Please pay attention to the word carefully, because this hadith is misinterpreted in order to throw doubt on the Sahaba of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. What did he say? He said, I were in Medina after the death of Abi Abdullah, and the people had gathered around around Abdullah ibn Ja'far, that's al-Aftah, considering him to be the master of the affair after his father. We entered in to meet with him while the people were with him. See the question they are asking him. We asked him about the zakat. At what amount is it to be levied? He said, 5 silver coins for every 200. We said, what about 100 silver coins? He said, 2.5. The answer is 0. We said, by Allah, this is what the Murji'ah say. He said, Abdullah al-Aftah said, by Allah, I do not even know what the Murji'ah say. Hisham said, so I and Abu Ja'far, they have proven his ignorance, that's al-Aftah. So Hisham said, I and Abu Ja'far al-Ahwal, Mu'min al-Taq, came out feeling lost, not knowing where to go. Why did they not know where to go? Is it because they did not know the Imam? Or because the Imam was concealing himself? So he said, we did not know where to go. Feeling lost, we sat down in one of the streets of Medina with our heads lowered, not knowing where to head or whom to seek. We kept saying to ourselves, should we, join the Murji'ah or the Qadiriyah or the Mu'tazili or the Zaydiyah? We said to ourselves, in their mind, like, where are we going to, since the Imam is under threat, Imam Sadiq has been martyred, what do we do? We were still contemplating over this when I saw an old man, whom I did not recognize, gesturing at me with his hand to follow him. I feared that he will turn out to be one of the spies of Abi Ja'far al-Mansur. For the Caliph had spies in Medina, ready to inform him the identity of the one around whom the people unite after Ja'far, so that he, the successor, can be taken and killed. And if you remember the first or second in the first or second part of this series, I mentioned how Imam Sadiq alayhi salam willed to 5 people. He willed to 5 people so that he can spare his successor, because the order was to kill whoever succeeds Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. So he went on to say, I feared that this was one such spy. I therefore said to Al-Ahwal, depart from this place, for I fear for both of us. But he only wants me, not you. So get away from me to save your life and escape death. Al-Ahwal withdrew far away, while I followed the old man. I did this because I felt that I could not escape him. I kept following him, having readied myself to meet death. He led me until we reached the door of Abil Hasan Musa alayhi salam, whereupon he left me and departed. The old man left. Suddenly, a servant appeared at the door and said to me, enter, may Allah's mercy be upon you. I entered and found Abul Hasan Musa alayhi salam, who said to me without being prompted, to me, not to the Murji'ah, nor the Qadiriyah, nor the Mu'tazila, nor the Zaydiyah, nor the Khawarij. What does this mean? If you remember yesterday's hadith and the previous one, when the children of Abi Sumal, they came to Imam Rida, what did they tell him? They said, when we used to come to your grandfather and your father, before we even ask him the question, he already knows the question. He will tell us the answer. He will reveal what we want to ask him. So this is Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam telling them, what they were thinking in their mind. Don't go anywhere, come to me. He said, I said, may I be your ransom? Has your father passed on? He said, yes. I said, passed away in death? He said, yes. I said, who do we have after him? He said, if Allah the Elevated wishes to guide you, He will. I said, may I be your ransom? Your brother Abdullah claims to be the Imam after his father. Imam Musa al-Kazem said, Abdullah wishes that Allah not to be worshipped. I said, may I be made your ransom? Who is for us after your father? He said, if Allah wishes to guide you, He will. I said, may I be your ransom? Is it you? He said, I do not say that. He said, I said to myself in my heart, I am not putting the question appropriately. Then I said to him, may I be made your ransom? Is there an Imam over you? He said, no. Perhaps this question's been asked is for people to hear. There entered me a feeling of awe and reverence towards Him which no one knows about except Allah. Then I said to him, may I be made your ransom? Can I ask you the way I used to ask your father? He said, ask, and you will be informed. But do not publicize it, for if you do, then it will be slaughter. Very important point here. He said, ask whatever you want, but don't publicize it. Because if you publicize this, it will be slaughter. Hisham said, I asked him and found him to be an ocean of knowledge which does not dry up. I said, may I be your ransom? The Shia of your father are lost. Should I avail them of this matter and call them to accept you as the Imam? For you have binded me to secrecy. He said, the one in whom you detect signs of receptivity to guidance, then inform him of this and bind him to secrecy. For if he publicizes it, then it will be slaughter, and he pointed with his hand to his throat. Hisham said, I left his presence and met Aba Ja'far al-Ahwal. He said to me, what is behind you? I said, guidance, and relate to him the whole story. Then we encountered Zurara and Abu Basir, who both entered to see Imam al-Kazem alayhi salam, and heard his talk and asked him and believed in him. Then we met the people in droves. Whoever enters in to meet al-Kazem alayhi salam believed in him, except for the group led by Ammar al-Sabati, who were Fathis, and the people abandoned Abdullah, and no one entered in to see him except very few. So this hadith establishes that Zurara had met Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam. So whoever he is trying to insert his own narrative into the history of the Shia. You are on your own. You should stop playing. Stop playing, stop deceiving people. And stop appealing to your paid missionaries, your paid academics, your paid professors for you to rent their pens and for them to write what pleases you. So, you see, this guy, he wrote a paragraph of lies, and it's taken me almost 2 hours just to touch on every point and bring so many hadiths and explain and back up my point. Just one paragraph. So you can see how things can actually be stuffed and people can be deceived, and it is very hard to actually ascertain the facts. Just one paragraph. This talkish professor, just one paragraph. I've been on it for almost 2 hours. Tayyib. It's not over, by the way. He mentioned these 4 people, and at the end, he still mentioned more. We'll touch on each and every one.
Jazakallah, Muhammad. Thank you for doing all this research. Wallah, it's very enlightening.
Wa iyyakum.
You didn't even need to do this, and you did it anyway. It's not like you're being, paid or anything. So, mashallah, the amount of research you did for this.
Inshallah. We are not paid for this. We are attacked. And this is the reason I decided to do this. So that we will have the answers when somebody like Farid goes to the Ismaili website and he accuses Sheikh al-Kulaini of replacing the name of Ismail with the name of Imam Musa al-Kazem. Said the hadith is in al-Imamah wal-Tabsira. And Ibn Babawayh al-Qummi mentioned Ismail in the hadith. We treated this yesterday. The hadith does not contain the name of Ismail. But this is what is mentioned on the Ismaili website. That the name of Ismail is in the hadith on the Ismaili website. And they even gave a link to the Shia online library. When you click on the link, you open the hadith, the name of Ismail is not there. So how do you accuse Sheikh al-Kulaini of replacing the name of Ismail with the name of Imam Musa al-Kazem?
And correct me if I'm wrong, even though the hadith that Kulaini wrote down doesn't have a name either, right?
It doesn't. In the Arabic, it doesn't contain a name. In the English translation by Thaqalain.net, yeah, there's a bracket. There are brackets containing the name Musa. Now is
so nobody has the name. So he didn't replace anything. He kept the hadith as it is.
Of course, he kept it verbatim. The only thing that Sheikh al-Kulaini did, and this is his right, This is the right of Sheikh al-Kulaini. The chapter heading is under the name of Imam Musa al-Kazem. And this hadith can be understood either way, either for Ismail or Imam Musa al-Kazem. And I will even tell you, this hadith does not constitute nas. This hadith on its own, even if you tell me this hadith is about Imam Musa al-Kazem 100%, I will tell you this is not enough to say this man is an Imam or was an Imam. You still need more evidence. But on the Ismaili website, it's complete misrepresentation. Completely. Tayyib. Let's read further down. So, he said in the last sentence, he said, other prominent disciples of Imam Sadiq who did not follow Musa as the next Imam included Aban ibn Usman al-Bajali, Abdullah ibn Bukair, Yunus ibn Dhibyan. So he gave us first four injections of lies. Now he's giving you another 3 injections. This is what this, this supposed Turkish professor, this is what he's doing here. Tayyib, let's check. Let's start with Aban. Let's see the position of Aban. This is from hawza.net. So it says, إن القول بأن أبان قد روي عن الكاظم يمكن أن يكون دليلا على إنكار اتهامه بالناووسية. يقول العلامة التستري في رفض هذه التهمة: إن لم نقف على روايته عنه ولا عده الشيخ والبرقي في الرجال في غير أصحاب الصادق. So Aban has narrated hadith from Imam al-Kazem, and this can actually be used to refute the accusation that he was among the Nawusiyya. Who were the Nawusiyya? The people who claimed that Imam Sadiq did not die and he will come back and all that. So he went on to say, وفي قبال ذلك لا بد من القول بأن النجاشي قد صرح قائلا بأن أبان قد روي عن أبي عبد الله وأبي الحسن. يضاف إلى ذلك أن في معاني الأخبار روايتين ينقلهما أبان عن الإمام الكاظم. In the book called معاني الأخبار, Aban has narrated 2 hadiths from Imam al-Kazem alayhi salam. In other words, he followed Imam al-Kazem. So how can this guy, this Professor Batata, how can he claim that Aban was not a companion of Imam al-Kazem? Just like he wanted Buraid to actually pledge allegiance to Imam Musa al-Kazem, even though Buraid died in the time of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. We move to the second person. Abdullah ibn Bukayr. So this is Firaq al-Shia of Hassan bin Musa al-Nawbakhti, page 78 to 79. This is 78 to 79 of Firaq al-Shia by al-Nawbakhti, under the heading of Al-Qailun bi-Imamat Musa bin Ja'far al-Kazem, those who testified in the Imamah. See the wording of al-Nawbakhti. When he's mentioning the other sect, he said yaz'umun. When he's mentioning the 12 verse, he said al-Qailun. When he's mentioning other sects, he said yaz'umun, they claim, like the Ismailis, the Nawusiya and others. When he's mentioning the followers of the true Imam, he said al-Qailun, those who testify, or those who say. So he said, وقالت الفرقة السادسة منهم أن الإمام موسى بن جعفر بعد أبيه، وأنكروا إمامة عبد الله وخطأوه في فعله وجلوسه مجلس أبيه وادعائه الإمامة. So he's talking about that split after the death of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. He said, those who testify to the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazim, and he actually categorized them as the sixth firqa or faction. He said they believed in the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazim after his father, and they denied the Imamah of Abdullah, and they wronged him, they proved him wrong in his action and sitting in the seat of his father and his claim to Imamah. وكان فيهم من وجوه أصحاب أبي عبد الله عليه السلام, and among them are the faces of the companions of Abu Abdullah. In other words, the recognizable people. Who did he mention? Hisham bin Salim, وعبد الله بن أبي يعفور, وعمر بن زياد, بياع الصابري, ومحمد بن النعمان, أبي جعفر الأحول, مؤمن الطاق, وعبيد ibn Zurara, Ubaid, the son of Zurara, وجميل بن دراج, وأبان ibn تغلب, وهشام ibn الحكم, وغيرهم من وجوه الشيعة, and others from the recognizable faces of the Shia, وأهل العلوم, and the people of knowledge, from among them والنظر, and vision, والفقه, and fiqh, وثبتوا على إمامة موسى بن جعفر, and they remain steadfast on the Imamah of Musa ibn Ja'far, حتى رجع إلى مقالتهم عامة من كان قال بإمامة عبد الله بن جعفر, until those who testified or those who followed Abdullah ibn Ja'far, they returned. فاجتمعوا جميعا على إمامة موسى بن جعفر, and all of them, they agreed on the Imamah of Musa ibn Ja'far. Then he went on to say, he said, سوى نفر منهم فإنهم ثبتوا على إمامة عبد الله, and then except a small number among them, they remained on the Imamah of Abdullah. Then listen to this. ثم, then, إمامة موسى بعده. So even this small number of people, they later accepted the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem alayhi salam. And listen to this. بعده فأجازوها في أخوين بعد أن لم يجز ذلك عندهم. They made it permissible in two brothers. In other words, they followed Abdullah, then Abdullah died, they followed Imam Musa al-Kazem. You know, all this that is happening here, this is in the span of 3 months. You know, when you actually read the history books and all that, and you see, oh, you know, Shia sects, division and all this, you'll be like, oh, you know, oh, the Shias were, you know, confused. No, they were lay people. They didn't know much. All this that is happening in a space of about 3 months. Abdullah al-Aftah died 70 days after his father. And this is the important part here. The reason for reading this text from Firaq al-Shia of Nawbakhti. He said, then they returned, even the small people who followed, the small number of people who followed Abdullah, they returned. They made permissible in two brothers the Imamah. منهم عبد الله بن بكير وعمار بن موسى السباتي وجماعة معهم. Then he mentioned who? Abdullah bin Bukair. So, Mr. Professor, Mr. Ismaili or Turkish or whatever professor he is. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? This is the question. Why are you lying that Abdullah ibn Bukair did not accept the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazem? He was confused. In the case of Abdullah ibn Bukair, even to this day, our scholars, they take his hadith. They consider him to be thiqah. We don't have a problem. He was genuinely, he had shubha because of a hadith that the Imamah is in the eldest son, without understanding the context. So why are you putting his name on your website that he did not believe in the Imamah of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam? طيب. This is Abdullah ibn Bukair. If you go to volume 11 of Mu'jam, the Mu'jam of Sayyid al-Khou'i, Mu'jam Rijal al-Hadith, volume 11, person 6745, he is thiqah. Abdullah ibn Bukair. طيب. We come to the last person. This is interesting. That is Yunus ibn Dhibyan. This is Rijal ibn Ghadairi, Yunus bin Dhibyan. Yunus bin Dhibyan, he was a Kufan, a Ghali, a liar, and a fabricator of hadith. He narrated from Abu Abdullah, his hadith, they are not accepted. They are not turned to. طيب. This is one. Another one. This is what Sayyid al-Khou'i said about this man. I pinned the link to the Mu'jam of Sayyid al-Khou'i, volume 11, person number 13,862. He claimed to receive wahi in the time of Imam Rida, and one of his companions came to Imam Rida to tell him. Imam Rida got angry with them. He cursed both of them. The companion died. The Imam cursed him, he died. This guy claimed wahi. He was a Ghali, he was a Khattabi and all that. Tayyib. Now we go to the professor's statement. He mentioned Zurara. He mentioned Abu Basir. We prove Zurara believed in Imam Musa al-Kazem. Abu Basir, there were two. And one was steadfast with the three Imams, Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, and Imam Musa al-Kazem. The other Abu Basir, he did ta'an of Imam Sadiq and Imam Kazem. He insulted both. And there is the possibility he repented. There is difference of opinion. That he might have actually repented. And then the issue that is mentioned that, his knowledge has not matured, that's Imam Kazem, we proved that the companion is the idiot. Because he didn't even know that this ruling has two faces. I mentioned Buraid. Buraid died in the time of Imam Sadiq. So why are you mentioning him here? Muhammad ibn Muslim, he narrated from Imam Musa al-Kazem. Aban ibn Uthman al-Bajali, he narrated from Imam Musa al-Kazem. Abdullah ibn Bukair, he was confused, he returned. Yunus ibn Zibyan, he's a Ghali. So out of 7, none of his claims are actually accurate. None. Tayyib. The second person is the second employee of the Ismaili Institute, Wilfred Madelung. He said, it is certain that Ja'far did not nominate another successor after Ismail. So if you actually making such a statement, it means Muhammad ibn Ismail was not an Imam. So you actually have evidence on your website that disproves your religion. So you have evidence against yourself. Muhammad ibn Ismail was not an Imam according to Wilfred Madelung. Because according to him, according to this guy, with all the main companions who followed Imam Musa al-Kazem, the main companions of Imam Sadiq, according to this guy, they are not worth talking about. They don't matter. Now, let me give evidence from them. There is a book called Zahr al-Ma'ani. There is an Ismaili Da'i. He's the 19th Ismaili Da'i. This book, I didn't find it in the online libraries. You would have to download it. This Da'i, he's the 19th Tayyibi Ismaili Da'i. Da'i al-Mutlaq. Another branch of Ismailis. Let's see what this guy said. He was the Da'i in Yemen. This is his profile on Wiki, Idris Imad al-Din. His book, Zahr al-Ma'ani, he said, إن موسى الكاظم صلوات الله عليه لم يجعله الصادق عليه السلام إماما إلا سترا على ولي الأمر محمد بن إسماعيل الأعرج لينكتم أمره على الأضداد ولعل يطلع على ما خص به أهل العداوة والعناد. Then he said, وكان أكثر اجتماع شيعة الصادق على موسى وعلى القول بإمامته. In the first statement I read, this da'i of the Tayyib Ismailis, he said that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq did not make Musa al-Kazim alayhi salam except as a veil over the main Imam, Muhammad ibn Ismail, in order to protect him, in other words. So he is accepting both al-Kazim and Muhammad ibn Ismail. He is doing, he's doing combination here. He is combining them. طيب, he went on to say, he said, وكان أكثر اجتماع شيعة الصادق عليه السلام على موسى وعلى القول بإمامته. He said, the ijma' of the companions or the Shia of Imam Sadiq, the ijma' of the Shia of Imam Sadiq, most of them were on the Imamah of Imam Musa al-Kazim. If they were misled people, misguided people. In the case of Imam Ali, the majority of the companions, they followed Abu Bakr. So, you are mentioning companions of Imam Sadiq and even your line. This didn't follow Imam Musa al-Kazim, this didn't follow, this didn't follow. You still lying, you still lying. Like, let's take that, let's keep that in mind. But let's not forget also, majority of Muslims do not follow Imam Ali. Is it the companions that prove the Imam to be truthful, or is it the Imam that proves who is truthful? Imam Ali said, you know the truth, and you will know those who follow it. The truth is not identified by people. It's not people that identify the truth. It's the truth that identifies people. So what's the use of mentioning Abdullah ibn Bukair and all these people? And you, in the end, you're wrong. Your claim is wrong. طيب. Paul Walker, again, another lie. Apparently, though, Ja'far did not appoint another in place of Ismail. Again, he's disproving Muhammad ibn Ismail. And the theoretical argument by which he might have done so is, generally speaking, missing. Well, you don't have to know. You're not a believer. Your name is Paul, so how can you know? Imami writers like Al-Nawbakhti admitted, Nawbakhti, that we just read his statement, and he said, Al-Qa'ilun bi-Imamat Musa alayhi salam. He said he admitted another lie that is attributed to Nawbakhti. Where is it mentioned? Yesterday, didn't I read the statement of Nawbakhti? And he was mentioning the issue wa ashara ilayh, that this was the position of the Ismailis. So how can you attribute falsehood to An-Nawbakhti? Paul Walker is doing it. Type. We come to Farhad Daftari. However, the fact remains that Ismail was not present at the time of Imam Sadiq's death, when 3 other sons simultaneously claimed his succession. though none of them could convincingly prove to have been the beneficiary of a second nas. First of all, somebody commented on the room chat that this Daftari, he is a 12er. No, this is not a 12er. I don't recognize him as a... This is not how a 12er speaks about his Imam. This is a merchant of religion that is talking here. Your co-director of the Ismaili Institute. He's blinded. This is not a 12er. He's chanting the tune of the person who pays him. This is him. His nafs is his God. This is not a 12er speaking. If you believe there was no second nas, we don't even believe in a second nas. We don't believe there was even nas for Ismail. There was no nas for Ismail. I cannot see it. Whatever you have that you can, cling on to, it doesn't constitute nas. It is not nas. Because the statement of people based on their observation, in the end, there were divisions. People think differently. These divisions do not constitute nas. What we can see in the history of the Shia is that there were people who stood firm and said that the Imam said this. This is the person we should follow. This is the person who is knowledgeable. He is the Imam. He fulfills the conditions. He has the signs of Imamah. And we see other groups who follow their own hallucinations, their own imaginations, their nafs. Like, for example, Abdullah ibn Bukair, who, even later after he had returned, he still said, oh, well, I believe in both brothers. He was confused. So this confusion does not constitute nas. Nas is when the Imam says, this my son, he is the one after me. This is nas. If the Imam can be quoted, this is nas. If the Imam cannot be quoted, this is not nas. If you lie about the Imam saying something, this is not nas. So this person here, according to one of the brothers in the audience, he said, this is, who made this statement? Out of this IIS academic, this is AP, he said, out of this IIS academics, Farhad Daftari is 12 himself. I don't recognize him as a 12. I will not do takfir on him. He's a Muslim, maybe. I don't know what his faith is, but if based on the given, I can say he's a Muslim. So I wouldn't do takfir on him. But is he Shia? No, he's not Shia. He's not Ithna Ashari, he's not Shia. This is not what a Shi'i Ithna Ashari says. That the Imam could not convincingly prove his claim. There was no second nas. We don't believe there was need for second nas. We believe in one nas. Then he went on, he said, as a result, the Imam as-Sadiq's partisans split into 6 groups, 2 of which constituted the nucleus of the nascent Ismailiyah. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. طيب. This one from, this statement from Al-Kashi, I think I've read this hadith. It's on Zurara. So I have touched this. I will skip it. I will go to 1D. 1D. MashaAllah. So 1D, this is the final claim that I will touch on before proof 2 for tomorrow, inshallah. It has to do with Bada. So, one, the succession to the 10th 12th Imam implicitly affirms that Ismail was the original heir designate of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. This statement alone is a bankrupt statement. Why is it a bankrupt statement? You don't have Nas from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, but you have Nas from Imam Ali al-Hadi for Ismail. like this is the funniest thing. This is Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam. He is the great grandson of Imam Musa al-Kazem, and you think he's proven Nas for your Imam, for his uncle, his great grand uncle? Do you really believe this as an Ismaili? I don't think any of you is convinced about this. It doesn't make sense. This is bankruptcy. So you cannot bring a clear statement where Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq said, this my son, he's the Imam after me. So you go to the 10th Imam of the 12th and say, it's actually Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam that is proven the Imam of Ismail. Let's read on. The 10th Imam of the 12th Shia, Abu al-Hasan Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam, designated his older son Abu Ja'far Muhammad. Again, this is an incorrect statement. There was no designation for Abu Ja'far Muhammad, Sayyid Muhammad alayhi salam. There was no designation for Muhammad. So, they said, had his successor, but Abu Ja'far Muhammad died within his lifetime. In other words, like Ismail. After his death, Ali al-Hadi designated another son, Abu Muhammad Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam, and referred back to Imam Ja'far's designation of Ismail ibn Ja'far to justify his decision. MashaAllah. Let's read this passage. This is from Sheikh al-Tusi, Kitab al-Ghaiba. It says, Abu Hashim Dawood al-Ja'fari narrated, I was with Abu al-Hasan Ali al-Hadi at the time of the death of his son, Abu Ja'far Muhammad bin Ali, whom he had appointed and designated. وَقَدْ كَانَ أَشَارَ إِلَيْهِ وَدَلَّ عَلَيْهِ. So he pointed towards him and showed him. This is the correct. He indicated and pointed towards him. This is the correct translation. Not appointed and designated, no. Anyway, let's read on, doesn't matter. So then I thought to myself, saying, this is the story of Abu Ibrahim, Musa al-Kazem, and Ismail. Abu al-Hasan al-Hadi alayhi salam came to me and said, O Abu Hashim, a new matter Bada appeared to God concerning Abu Ja'far. First of all, this is a misrepresentation of Bada, but inshallah tomorrow we'll speak about Bada. A new matter Bada appeared to God concerning Abu Ja'far Muhammad bin Ali, and he replaced him with Abu Muhammad Hassan al-Askari, just as a new matter Bada appeared to God concerning Ismail after Abu Abdullah designated him Dalla alayhi and appointed him Nasabahu. If this is a correct statement, then you have something, you have a case here. But I will prove this to be baseless. The second, the same statement is from An-Nawbakhti, or it is attributed to An-Nawbakhti, Firaq al-Shia, page 78 to 79 of An-Nawbakhti. When his son Abu Ja'far Muhammad died, I was beside Abu al-Hasan Ali al-Hadi. I was thinking that Abu Ja'far and Abu Muhammad are like Musa ibn Ja'far and Ismail ibn Ja'far in this age. Their story is the same. Just when I was about to say that, Abu Muhammad was expected after Abu Ja'far, Abu al-Hasan Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam turned to me and said, yes, Abu Hashim, the unknown thing concerning Abu Muhammad after Abu Ja'far became clear for God, Badalillah. Again, misrepresenting Bada. His situation is that of Musa, that is, Bada occurred after Ismail's death. Abu Muhammad Hassan al-Askari will be my successor. Okay. First of all, in treating this, let's focus on the attribution. This is the first point. This is attributed to Sheikh al-Tusi, Kitab al-Ghaiba. Is this hadith there? Yes. The second attribution to An-Nawbakhti. Is this found there? No, I did not find it. It's not there. At least maybe there is some magic I did not perform in turning the pages or something. I did not find it. This is not there. And I will show you what Nawbakhti said in regards to the succession to Imam Ali al-Hadi. What Nawbakhti said in the same book, in Firaq al-Shia, what he said in the same book. So, first of all, this is the hadith from Kitab al-Ghaiba. This is Kitab al-Ghaiba. The chapter heading, Refutation of all sects which believed in imamate of someone other than the master of the age. So it's not like Al-Tusi is giving you this hadith and he's telling you, come and see, let me prove to you the Imamah. The Imamah of Brother Elias is asking who attributed this statement to Sheikh al-Nawbakhti. The Ismaili website, on the Ismaili Nas's website. They attributed this to al-Nawbakhti. So the chapter heading is Refuting all sects. So Sheikh al-Tusi, first of all, is not giving you this and saying, you cut us. You cut us pants down. No, this is a refutation. After the hadith, you go down, he said, in this regard, there are exceedingly numerous and clear, unequivocal traditions and reports from the father of Imam Hassan al-Askari with regard to him, which we abstain from quoting as it will prolong this book, although we will mention some of them in the coming pages if Allah wills. As for that which is mentioned under the explanation of the report, that change of destiny, Bada, occurred for Almighty Allah, means that Bada was effected in that matter by Almighty, and that in the same way, in all the instances where it is mentioned that Bada occurred about Ismail, it means that Bada came into being from Almighty. As people were of the view that Ismail would be the Imam after his father. But when he died, this belief was proven incorrect, and the imamate of Imam Kazem was fulfilled. In the same way, people thought that after Imam al-Hadi, his son Muhammad is the Imam. But when he passed away during the lifetime of his father, it disproved their every view and understanding. So first of all, the chapter heading is refutation. Secondly, There is a refutation by Sheikh Tusi. That is the reason for placing this hadith here. Now, let's look at the chain. فروي سعد بن عبد الله الأشعري. Who is Sa'ad bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari? Sa'ad bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari, if you remember yesterday, he is the one, or he was the one, who said about Abu al-Khattab la'natullahi alayhi in his book. He said, this Abu al-Khattab, he is one of the founders of the Ismailiyah. He was this, he was that, la'natullah alayhi. This same person, Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Kummi. So this hadith, it says Faruya, it means, who narrated it? Sa'ad bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari. He has only one book. What we have from him today is one book. That's Al-Maqalat wal-Firaq. This hadith is not found in his book. Do you know that? This hadith, which you are using to prove the alleged Imamah of Ismail, is not found in the book of Al-Ash'ari al-Kummi. So where is it? It's not there. Let's go to what he said, Al-Ash'ari al-Kummi. In Al-Maqalat wal-Firaq, page 101. Let me pin the link. Let's see what Al-Ash'ari al-Kummi said about the succession to Imam Ali al-Hadi. Because this hadith is attributed to him, but the hadith is not found in his book. He said, وقال سائر أصحاب علي بن محمد بإمامة ابنه الحسن بن علي, that most or majority or all of the ashab of Ali al-Hadi, they actually testified for the imamah of his son, Imam Hassan al-Askari. وَثَبَتُوا لَهُ الْإِمَامَةِ بِوَصِيَّةِ أَبِيهِ إِلَيْهِ, and they establish for him imamah based on the wasiyah of his father for him. وَكَانَ يُكَنَّ بِأَبِي مُحَمَّدٍ إِلَّا نَفَرًا قَلِيلًا فَإِنَّهُمْ مَالُوا إِلَى أَخِيهِ جَعْفَرٍ وَقَالُوا أَوْصَى أَبُوهُ إِلَيْهِ بَعْدَ مُضِيِّ أَبِيهِ مُحَمَّدٍ. A minority went to Ja'far instead of Imam al-Askari alayhi salam. And Imam al-Askari had the will according to him from his father. وَأَوْجَبَ إِمَامَتَهُ وَأَظْهَرَ أَمْرُهُ, and he made his imamah wajib, and he made apparent his command. وَأَنْكَرُوا إِمَامَةَ أَخِي, and they later on rejected the imam of Ja'far. وَقَالُوا إِنَّمَا فَعَلَ أَبُوهُ ذَلِكَ إِتْقَاءً عَلَيْهِ وَدِفَاعًا عَنْهُ. Now his father tried to cover up for him, to protect him, in other words. وَكَانَ الْإِمَامِ فِي الْحَقِيقَةِ جَعْفَرْ بن علي. This group, they said the true Imam was Ja'far bin Ali, but he declared Imam Hassan al-Askari, to cover up for Ja'far. وَهَؤُلَاءِ هُمْ الْجَعْفَرِيَّةِ الْخُلْصِ. Then we go to page 102. He said, فَلَمَّا تُوُفِّيَ عَلِي bin Muhammad, when Imam Hadi Ali bin Muhammad died, قالت فرقة من أصحابه بإمامة ابنه محمد. A group of them believed in the imamah of Muhammad, the son that passed away in the time of Imam Hadi, just like Ismail passed in the time of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. So a group said, no, Muhammad was the Imam. وَقَدْ كَانَ تُوفِّيَ فِي حَيَاةِ أَبِيهِ, and he died in the time of his father. زَعَمُوا أَنَّهُ حَيٌّ. They claimed, when you use the word za'amu, when I say somebody za'amu, it means you're claiming something that is not established or cannot be established or is falsely attributed. This is the implication of saying za'amu. So he said za'amu annahu hay, that he was alive, he didn't die. Lam yamut. وَاعْتَلُوا فِي ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ أَبَاهُ أَشَارَ إِلَيْهِ. You see the ishara that is found in the hadith? He's talking about ishara here. He never said Imam Hadi appointed Sayyid Muhammad alayhi salam. He said, these people, they claimed زعموا أنه حي, that he was alive, he didn't die. And his father وزعموا, in the وزعموا أنه حي لم يمت وَاعْتَلُوا فِي ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ, and they built upon this that his father أشار إليه, he indicated towards him. وَأَعْلَمَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْإِمَامِ بَعْدَهُ, and he made it known to them that he was the Imam after. So, if Sa'ad bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi, in his book Al-Maqalat wal-Firaq, he is making this statement, he's using the word za'amu, they claimed he was alive, he didn't die, and that his father pointed towards him. If Sa'ad ibn Abdullah, he is saying this in his book, which we have, where did this hadith, which At-Tusi quoted in Kitab al-Ghaiba, where did it come from? It's not in the book of Sa'ad al-Qummi. It's not there. It's the opposite that we find there. So the matin doesn't have any basis. This is what it means. Tayyib. We go to the Isnad. Sheikh al-Tusi, he was born in 385 after Hijrah. Sa'ad died in 299. In other words, Sa'ad bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi, he died almost 100 or 90 years before Sheikh al-Tusi was born. So the question imposes itself. If in the book of Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi, we don't find this hadith, and he lived almost 100 years before Sheikh al-Tusi, who places this hadith in his book to refute it under the chapter of refutation. So the question is, if you cannot attribute it to Sa'ad, who allegedly narrated it, where did it come from? So even the chain between Sa'ad ibn Abdullah and Sheikh al-Tusi, it is not connected. Who is the contact in between Sa'ad and Sheikh al-Tusi? Who is the middleman here? Or who are the middlemen? We don't know. So this hadith doesn't have any value. It has no value. Tayyib. Further than that, do we have a similar hadith like this hadith about this event, the answer is yes. Somewhere else, other than this, do we have something like this? So, because if we have something like this with a complete chain, then we can actually be able to make a case on it. Now we will check, does this actually prove our case, or does it prove the Ismaili case? And how did these wordings enter the hadith about Ashara ilayh wa nassabahu, he appointed him and all this? I will pin first of all the hadith which has a chain. So the sources and pages are there? No, they are not there. There's a lost book of Qummi which Tusi had access to. Well, if there is a lost book of Qummi which Tusi have access to, you have first of all to prove this claim. Secondly, in the book which we have of Qummi, he contradicts this. So if Qummi actually had such a book and such a hadith is actually found there, then it only beholds that this hadith is based on the claim of certain people. First of all, the hadith is not the word of the Imam, in the sense that it's not the word of Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, who is supposed to give the nas for Ismail. He's not there. No, it's not a strong hadith because it's not connected. And in the book we have of Sa'd al-Qummi, we don't find it there. طيب. In this hadith, which I just pinned from Al-Kafi, volume 1, what does it say? It says the same event, huh? And why is this hadith even more? This hadith should be reliable, and we should throw away the other one. Why? Because in this hadith it says Ali ibn Muhammad has narrated from Ishaq ibn Muhammad from Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari, the same Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari. In this hadith, no Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi. From Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari, who has said the following: I was in the presence of Abu al-Hasan after the death of his son. Abu al-Hasan, that's Imam Hadi, Imam Ali al-Hadi. After the death of his son Abu Ja'far, that's Sayyid Muhammad. I thought to myself, like wanting to say, the two, Abu Ja'far and Abu Muhammad, at this time are like Abu al-Hasan, Musa and Ismail, the sons of Ja'far ibn Muhammad. At such time, Abu al-Hasan turned to me before I will say anything and said, yes, O Abu Hashim. Allah applied Bada in the case of Abu Muhammad. In the case of Abu Muhammad, by taking him away. In the case of Abu Muhammad, after Abu Ja'far, a fact that was not known for him. In the same, he applied Bada in the case of Musa after the death of Ismail has an issue that through which his condition came to light. That is what you taught to yourself, even though people of falsehood may dislike Abu Muhammad, my son will be the succeeding Imam. With him is the knowledge that he will need, and with him is the means of Imamah. So, the same event, the same narrator, Abi Hisham al-Ja'fari, the same event, the same everything, except the wordings are different. The wordings are different. In the Arabic, the Imam used the word here. He said, كما بدا له في موسى بعد مضي إسماعيل, after the passing of Ismail. In the other Mursal narration in Al-Ghaiba, Kitab Al-Ghaiba, it uses the word أشار إليه ونصبه, بعد أن أشار إليه ونصبه, after he pointed to him and he appointed him. In this hadith, in Al-Kafi, and by the way, this hadith is older because Sheikh al-Kulayni, he is before Sheikh al-Tusi. So he compiled this hadith before Sheikh al-Tusi appeared. And this same hadith, Al-Mas'udi, the historian, has also recorded this. And it doesn't contain the wording that is attributed to Al-Qummi. And we don't find that hadith in the book of Al-Qummi. And even if you want to tell me he might have had another book, the present book of Al-Qummi, which we have, said a certain faction among the followers of Imam Hadi, they claimed that Muhammad was not dead. They made the claim that Sayyid Muhammad, the son of Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam, he wasn't dead. This is their own claim. And then he went on to say, on this premise, they claimed that his father pointed towards him. So now the question is, based on this book of Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi, based on this book Al-Maqalat wal-Firaq that we have, that has survived, is Sa'ad proven right that group that followed Sayyid Muhammad, or is he refuting them? He's refuting them. He's saying Za'amu, they claimed, in other words, false, it's a false claim. This is what he's saying. So even if you bring me 1,000 books, which you might claim that are lost, you cannot negate the statement here that has reached us, that this man, he is actually refuting the claim of these people. And yesterday, I read his work, his writing about Ismail, the Ismailis, and what he said. Again, he uses the same wording. He said, Za'amu. So, how can you actually say he believed in this that is attributed to him, when in fact he's disproving them? See what he said in page 81. He said, أما الإسماعيلية الخالصة فهم الخطابية أصحاب أبي الخطاب محمد بن زينب الأسدي لعنه الله. said the original Ismailis, they are the Khattabiyya, the followers of the Ghali Muhammad, Abil Khattab Muhammad ibn Abi Zaynab al-Asadi, may Allah curse him. وقد دخلت منهم فرقة وأقروا بموت إسماعيل في حياة أبيه وكانت الخطابية الرؤساء منهم قتلوا مع أبي الخطاب وكانوا لزموا المسجد بالكوفة. This man, he's literally Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Qummi al-Ash'ari. He's causing your leader. It's not there. Brother Elias is saying he checked the Istanbul edition of Firak too. It's not there. That's the truth. If you go also to the book of Nawbakhti, because the second statement on the Ismaili website is actually attributed to An-Nawbakhti. It's not there. What did Nawbakhti said? I will pin the link to his book. This is the final statement. Hassan bin Musa al-Nawbakhti, Firak al-Shia, page 94. I will pin this link. Scroll down. He said, القائلون بإمامة محمد بن علي بن محمد بن علي بن موسى عليه السلام. Those who believed in the Imamah of Sayyid Muhammad عليه السلام. We don't have anything against Sayyid Muhammad. We don't have anything against Ismail. We love both of them, but they were not Imams. Anyway, Nawbakhti, in this book, he said, فَلَمَّا تُوُفِّيَ عَلِي بن محمد بن علي بن موسى الرضا صلوات الله عليهم, he's sending salawat on who? On Imam Rida, Imam Musa al-Kazem, Imam Ali al-Hadi, Imam Muhammad al-Jawad. He's sending salawat on them. He said, لما توفي علي بن محمد قالت فرقة من أصحابه بإمامة ابنه محمد. A group believed in the Imamah of Sayyid Muhammad. وقد توفي في حياة أبيه. And he died in the time of his father. Then he goes on. He said, وَزَعَمُوا أَنَّهُ حَيٌّ لَمْ يَمُتْ. They claimed that he was alive and he did not die. وَاعْتَلُوا في ذلك بأن أباه أشار إليه. And they built on the claim that his father indicated for him. And he made it known to them that he is the Imam after him. Then the second page, he said, وقال سائر أصحاب علي بن محمد بإمامة الحسن ibn Ali. And all the companions of Imam al-Hadi, they believed in the Imamah of Imam Hassan al-Askari عليه السلام وثبتوا له الإمامة بوصية أبي. And they established his Imamah بوصية أبي, through the will of his father. If you see his terminology here, he did not say they claimed for him the Imamah through the will of his father. He never said that. He said, no, they established for him. ثبتوا له بوصية أبي. وكان يكن بأبي محمد سوى نفر يسير قليل فإنهم مالوا إلى أخيه جعفر وقالوا أوصى إليه أبوه بعد مضي محمد وأوجب إمامته وأظهر أمره وأنكروا إمامة محمد أخيه وقالوا إنما فعل ذلك أبوه اتقاء عليه ودفاعا عنه وكان الإمام في الحقيقة جعفر. So, I don't know, you attribute things to Nawbakhti, it's not there. Ilyas, what was the other statement that you are saying was not in the book of Al-Qummi? The hadith, I will give you the link. This hadith in Kitab al-Ghaiba. I posted the link. This hadith in Kitab al-Ghaiba, the chain is from Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi. Then Abil Hashim. Now, Sa'ad to Sheikh al-Tusi, there is no connection. So, there is actually a website. This is called, let me see, I don't know if I've closed it. I've closed it. These wordings were actually in the hadith in At-Tusi. These are the transmission of the meaning of the hadith where people think this was what happened. Sorry, Akhi, Hotsan, can you bring Brother Ilyas? He's raising his hand. Brother Nadim, can you please invite Ilyas? I think he's raising. I think we are through for tonight, inshallah. So, Jazakumullah.
Yeah, let me bring him up. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I just checked all the editions that at least I had of Firqa Shia, and even when I read this book, I didn't remember reading this. So apparently this is in Al-Kafi. This is not in Firqa Shia. Rafid, you were also saying something about Abdullah bin Sa'ad al-Qudni. What were you saying about him? What did he say about Abu Khattab?
So the hadith that is actually in Al-Kafi does not contain the term that are found in the hadith in the hadith of Kitab al-Ghaiba. So in the hadith of Kitab al-Ghaiba, it says, كما بدا له في إسماعيل بعدما دل عليه أبو عبد الله ونصبه أو نصبه. So in the hadith in Al-Kafi, volume 1, it says, كما بدا له في موسى بعد مضي إسماعيل. Has the bada happened for Musa after the passing away of Ismail, not after the appointment of Ismail. So you see, the one word changes the meaning. Now, this hadith itself is considered, let me paste it. This hadith itself is considered weak. Sorry, I will pin it. Because one of the narrators was a ghali. That's the only reason. So this narration is from a ghali who is actually reporting this. Sorry,
Yeah,
what was your question, Brother Elias?
No. When I was down, bro, I missed it. If you could remember, or I would have to look at the replay. You were saying something about Abdullah al-Sa'ad al-Qummi and Abul Khattab. Like, did he believe in Abul or something? What do you remember? You were saying something.
I will show you. I will show you. Just a minute.
No, but is that what you were saying?
No. He cursed him.
Okay. Right. Yes. Of course. No. I know that.
So I'm pointing out this because how can you tell me that Sa'ad ibn Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qummi, he is promoting the idea that, oh, you know what, there was will for Ismail. He's literally telling you in his book that the original Ismailis, they were followers of Abu al-Khattab, la'anahullah. May Allah curse him. Like, you know, this is actually very funny.
Ajib, very ajib.
Yeah, no, it's pretty well known. It's pretty well known. Both Nawaqti and Al-Qummi, both of them were 12ers, of course. So it's pretty evident that they wouldn't hold to like the idea of the Nas for Ismail or anyone after that.
Sayyid Muhammad, thank you. Jazakallah khair. This was very nice.
Jazakallah khair. I think if we have nothing further to state, inshallah, till tomorrow, Brother Hassan, Brother Nadim, Brother Ilyas, Brother Manhaj, and everyone in the audience, if you have anything to say, please do so. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, inshallah, we end the room.
Well, I just gotta say, like, I would be very exhausted by the amount of research this needs. May Allah, accept your service for the religion of Islam.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair.
Yes, yes. Jazakallah. I just think like at least citations should be correct. Like you have put the links. That's very good. It makes it clear. This is where the thing is. Or alternatively, someone can put up the right edition with the citation. So you can always go back and read what it says basically.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Yeah, all the links that I read from, all my claims were pinned in the room. So, there's no excuse that I didn't state anything correctly. Everything is pinned and the room is recorded. So anyone who wants to, either confirm or to fault me, you can always come back to the room and listen. No problem. So, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you very much for your patience. I know this can be very boring, and this is the reason why, these claims are kind of, stuffed in a way that it really needs a lot of time going into details, narrators, even single words, single transmitters. Like, it's so stuffed, in a way that people can easily, if they are not careful, they can get confused by such claims and misrepresentations. So thank you for your time, your patience. Inshallah, tomorrow is another day, and I will continue, inshallah. And bi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.